I'm just like, Kate, dude, how do I do this? What do I need to do? I feel like I'm really struggling here. And she was just like, break the rules.
We inspire, we create, we transform art into a journey. We are Talk Parlor number 13. Welcome back to Talk Parlor number 13. I'm Adam.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're going to kick this off with our number one segment of
Recap.
In this segment, we discuss last week's results and who won the challenge.
Yeah, Adam took home this win for last week's Freddy Krueger Halloween special. Right on. That's two challenges in a row for you?
Two? Yeah. I don't get too hung up on it.
Right on.
Because, she's going to kick my butt at some point. Again.
No. I think Adam will probably definitely be taking home this win as well. But so going back to last week's Halloween special, the winner for the giveaway is still TBD, to be determined. We've yet to compile the names. We're doing that today. So by the time that you're seeing this, if you want to check out who the winner was, go to our Facebook page at Parlor number 13 by J&A and check out who won that free giveaway.
Yeah, I can't wait to draw for that. That's going to be exciting. I think overall, last week's theme week, that was really super exciting.
It was very exciting, and it was probably my favorite challenge that I wouldn't say my favorite challenge, but it was just really cool. We were on a new medium. We finally did something in black and white, something that you and I both really, really enjoy.
Absolutely.
And in realism, which I feel like brought our talents to the table on how hyper realistic we can get things,
I agree. And I think just overall being a theme week and introducing that, I had a lot of fun with it. So I hope in the future that we can bring you guys more theme weeks.
Yes.
It's something a little bit different.
Right.
It kind of breaks us out of the normal every week,
Yeah, it breaks us out of repetitiveness with the challenges.
Yeah.
And so with it being the holiday season, there are more theme weeks to come. So yeah, keep on checking back in for those. And I believe more giveaways to come as well. But
absolutely.
TBD.
Yep.
Awesome.
So with that being said, how do you feel after we rolled last week for our challenge?
So for this challenge, I was kind of excited at first. We rolled vehicles, which ended up being the Dodge Challenger Hellcat, in Surrealism, warm color palette, and yet again alcohol markers. We decided to do alcohol markers back to back with that roll because we were doing colors and getting away from black and white. And with it being a new medium, we figured back to back will be fine. That is now thrown back into the 3-week rotation, so we will not do back to back mediums again. But overall, I was really nervous. I do wish that it could have been, just a more color realism focused drawing. The surrealism part really hung me up this week, but it was interesting. It was exciting. I kind of have a war story to tell with mine, if anything. How about you?
Every time, this is the second time we've rolled surrealism, and every single time I start out just absolutely freaking out over it. Because I've never felt like my brain really wraps around surrealism very well. If you go back in history and you read some about about these artists that have done surrealism in the past, oftentimes they're taking something to put them into a state of mind that allows them to see these weird, crazy things that you wouldn't normally see under normal conditions. So that's something that always hangs me up because I'm not willing to do that.
You're right.
And praise those who are.
Yeah.
Because it puts a different perspective on it entirely, I would have to imagine. So, to be able to get my brain to understand and really, find inspiration in other places, I think that's helped me, but it's still, man, it's just scary when you roll surrealism.
Right.
The warm color palette, I can work around that.
I do enjoy a warm color palette.
I do too. Because you get to play with a lot of colors that you don't really think that you would normally get to play with in a warm color palette. The vehicle part, that one terrified me.
Like I said, I was really excited for it, but with it being the surrealism, I just wish I just want to draw a vehicle without the extra stuff, you know, because just
Right.
drawing the vehicle by itself would be,
With like a graphite pencil.
yeah, with like a graphite pencil.
Yeah, that would be lovely, Dice.
Speaking it into existence, we are rolling graphite pencils this week.
That's
It would
right.
be,
Today, it's going to
yes.
happen.
Listen here, dice.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
In fact, those are the dice we're going to be using. So everybody just graphite pencil, graphite
graphite
pencil,
pencil.
right there.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, just a little pixie dust or something
little
over there. Yeah, yeah,
salt bay.
exactly.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You know,
But leading off of that, let's talk about the research that you did, that really drove you into your drawing because clearly it does show a lot of inspiration, from what I see as Salvador Dalí.
it absolutely does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hands down, no questions asked. I research wise, you know, when we were going through the roles, and it was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're doing surrealism. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little unknown at that point. But then you start throwing in the vehicle, you start throwing in the warm color palette, and then you throw in the type of vehicle that we're going to do, and instantly my mind goes to Persistence of Memory, which is a painting done by Salvador Dali, I believe in 1931. I could have the date wrong on
Mm-hmm.
that. It's one that I've always really enjoyed. Um, just because it's weird. I mean, most
Mm-hmm.
Persistence of Memory, most people won't understand what painting I'm talking about. But if I say the Melting Clocks painting, everybody
Yes.
knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And that's the painting I'm referring to. So I knew instantly after the dice were, you know, after we were rolling the dice and what they were landing on, um, that it was that's what I was going to use as my inspiration, was that particular painting. Um, as the drawing and the sketch developed, you know, he's got another painting called The Elephants that he did in 1948. And it's another weird painting that he
Mm-hmm.
did. I mean, of course, what painting isn't weird that he's done?
Right.
So, you know, I took inspiration from definitely Salvador Dali, and I tried to just put a modern spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, research wise, that's really I just sit there and studied the imagery.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what I did. I studied it and studied it and studied it, and
And
I
it definitely worked.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And you
mean,
said off the rip that you wanted to pull inspiration from that painting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this was a good challenge to do that with.
I'm glad you felt that way.
I mean, is it weird? Yeah, it definitely check marks weird. Is it surrealism? Yeah, it definitely check marks that
Right.
box. Is it something I enjoyed a lot? I don't know if I can answer that one yes or no,
Well,
because
you finished it really early
I did.
also.
I did. I finished on Sunday.
Mhm.
Um, but I was also just kind of in that zone. You know, I got
Yeah.
up Sunday morning and I was just in the zone, and I didn't have much going on Sunday, so
Mhm.
I just, you know, like I said, kind of getting away from the research aspect of it. But uh, yeah, most of my research just really kind of stuck around, you know, reading about him, Salvador Dali, and you know how he really come up with. In fact, as a matter of fact, did you know that he ate a specific type of cheese that made him hallucinate to the point that he was able to do the Persistence of Memory painting?
Can you imagine how that cheese would smell?
Yuck.
It'd be some interesting cheese.
Yeah. Also, something else I didn't know,
Mhm.
because I've never seen it in person, but most of his paintings are very small.
Yeah, yeah, we touched on that earlier this week as well, like the Mona Lisa, for example.
Yep.
You know, completely different artist here, but it is very small. I'd have to look up the correct dimensions, but it's like 11 by 14. And I think even smaller than that, it might be an 8 by 10.
Which one, the Mona
The
Lisa?
Mona
Oh,
Lisa.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. The Persistence of Memory it's 9 by something, 9 by 16, 9 by 13, something like that. It's a lot smaller
Mhm.
than what most people might think it is.
Oh, never mind. The Mona Lisa is 30 by 21. So
Oh.
But still, we see these paintings and we're imagining them something huge and awesome and, this size, but, yeah, most of the time they're pretty small.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about your research?
So, my research, I listened to a lot of documentaries on it. I found out that Surrealism was kind of created, after World War I, if I remember correctly, about 1924. I can't remember the main artist that started off. I think his name was Andre something. But they started it, and it's kind of interesting because some of the things that I heard was it was a good distraction from like how hard times were then and how their modern art was. They were kind of just like, no, we're going to do it this way instead.
Right.
Really opening up the surrealistic element of things, and I just found that to be really really interesting.
Well, it makes you kind of wonder if war in itself didn't have a play in that.
Right. Well, I think
You
it
know,
did with
taking them
a
away
few
from
artists.
the reality
Exactly.
of what was
Exactly.
going on.
It was almost like a coping mechanism. It sounded like
Yeah.
with the stuff that I heard. Not confirmed. Don't know if that's confirmed in the real art world with professionals and stuff, but yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
we
a
can
cool
all
take.
draw our own conclusions from it.
Right,
So,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
um,
But that went into about my research and then just looking up lots and lots of photos. And I guess with that, like I'll bounce us into the design phase because with Adam's research is basically the same that I had. Um and with my design phase, so
you struggled.
I
I mean,
this one is probably the one that I've struggled with the most. And I think it's because I'm not a car gal, you know? I don't have
which is weird in the sense that Jordan was the one that wanted vehicles on the list.
right. But with surrealism, I I don't know how to relate that to me. Does that make sense? I would love to
Yes.
just draw a car and focus on the realism of the vehicle and just bring that to life and be like, "Boo, yeah, yeah, I drew that." With my design phase, so this was my third drawing that I ended up going with. My first drawing didn't sit well with me. I barely got into it. And then my second drawing actually looked really cool
It
as
did.
the sketch. Looked really good and I think my vehicle would have turned out super well in that one. It was more of a horizontal view of the Hellcat and it had a space scene in the background, some really cool uh Utah desert rock formations around it. Um Flames for the tires. It was just interesting. Um and then I think I kind of just rushed into it a little bit too much and I didn't feel like it read surrealism. I feel like it read more as futurism. Um so I did the space background on that one and I was like, yeah, that looks cool. And then I started working on the landscape and I just bombed it. It didn't look good. That's where I really started struggling with the alcohol markers and learned that it's a lot easier for me using black and white
Oh,
alcohol markers than it is to layer these colors because these colors look way different than what they do on the caps.
well, and
So
to to feed off of that, I think a lot of it is being apprehensive.
yeah, I agree. I agree. So next thing decided to do was I ended up just on Pinterest, looking at surrealism photo after surrealism photo after surrealism photo. Saw that a lot of them used mirrors and just kind of went with that direction as well and kind of came up with this portalless image for the Hellcat. Um, and just kind of, it's kind of another one of those things like the abstract wallet drawing is that everything was an afterthought and I just tried to bring it all together into something. And I started this Monday night while at work. I was sketching and ended up finishing it Monday evening after I had slept. So
I think it turned out phenomenally well.
thank you.
I know you're not a huge fan of it, but
I don't like it at all. I think that, well, I shouldn't say it all because there are some bits of it that I'm like, that's cool. But I will say it's probably unfinished. And to be fair, I was just like, I'm so done with this. I'm
and
really
there are going to be times that you're going to get into that spot where it's just like you dislike it so much. You've tried over and over and over,
Mhm.
and it's just no matter what you do, it never pleases you.
Yeah, yeah. I never found that finished piece of this, but there are a lot of things that I liked within the design. I really like the filigree within my mirror portal, and I love how. So I was using a reference image, of course, for the filigree, and then as I got to the middle piece here, I was like, "Ooh, what if I morphed that into flames, and the flames into the Hellcat symbol?" Which I thought was pretty neat since I was
It
doing a
is
frontal view
freaking awesome.
of the Hellcat. It was cool to be able to incorporate the logo that way. And then yeah, just did the frontal view of the vehicle and kind of put it on this floating desert with a pretty neat little sunset background. It came out okay.
I like the way you carried the road from the front of the image through the mirror, through the back of the mirror, and out the back of the image.
Yeah, I
There
like
is
that too.
something just very pleasing about it to me.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know why, but to me, it just there's something very cool about that.
And I think that helps push that portal aspect of this more. You know, you can tell that this vehicle is coming from something and it's coming out of something and through something, and it's not just there,
Right.
you know?
How did you feel when you got to the vehicle? When you were putting in the color on the vehicle, how did you feel about that?
I felt that I wish I would have gone orange with it, honestly. Um, I thought it was okay. The whole time I'm just thinking, man, with a pencil, I can make this look great. I need to practice a lot with my color and layering color, finding the right colors to work. But overall, it was okay. And I wish that I had I don't know, I wish I could have found that red that I was like, "Ooh, that's a great red for the car." Because I felt like some of them were too dark and some of them were kinda too bright and too pinkish, but it worked out fine.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the moments where you thought you had enough colors,
Mhm.
and then you realized that maybe you didn't have enough colors.
Right, because I was really looking for that fire red,
Right.
and in our colors, in our markers, there is not just a red. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's it's Morello cherry, cranberry. Crimson. That's fine, but I just
I
wanted a
know.
red, you know?
I love yours. I really do. I think it captures the challenge. I think that it's I feel like it's better than what you feel it is.
Well, thank you for that.
I
Thank you
mean,
for that.
I
I just
really
think
do.
that it's because um, I couldn't become satisfied with the image, you know? And I think that's because a lot of it's just unfinished, and I wish I would like to redraw this in pencil and add some serious detail.
But here brings up and I don't mean to interrupt you, but here brings up another point.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you connected with it?
See, that's my problem. That's my problem. I don't feel like I connected with it because I sketched the car last. And whenever this was just the mirror, the road, the portal, the floating desert, the clouds, I was like, "Man, this is neat. I really like this." And I feel like there's just so much more I can add to it. And then I start sketching this car on there. And I'm just like, I know I don't relate to this vehicle at all. And I thought about morphing it a bit more, but I also didn't want to copy off of yours. You know what
Right.
I mean? So I was like, just keep the image there with the vehicle. I wish that I really knew how to push the hyper realism with these colors, but trying to obtain such a smooth surface in color for me, my brain has a hard time with. But yeah. Anyways, enough about mine. Let's talk about your masterpiece with your design phase.
Well, again, like I said, all mine stems right from inspiration from two other paintings.
Mhm.
Um, and I just, I went in, I started with the platform. I knew I wanted the car up on a platform.
That
Um,
that was a cool idea.
yeah. So I put the car up on the platform, and well, I put the platform in, and then I started drawing the car on the platform. And when I drew the car, I drew it as if it was just a normal Challenger.
Mhm.
You know, didn't have any of the melty stuff going on.
Right.
Everything looked as perfect as I could get it.
Mhm.
Um, I knew I wanted some sort of what felt like a desert type background.
Mhm.
Just because I feel like that adds to maybe an emptiness type feel.
And a lot of surrealism focuses on desert
Yeah.
kind of oasis
Yeah.
looks.
It,
Yeah.
it just emptiness is the best
Mhm.
way I can put it, or not satisfied or not fulfilling or
Right.
something. Um, so I knew I wanted something like that. Um, I tried this this sounds kind of weird, but I tried to do the Hellcat emblem multiple times on the car where it's designed to be at, and it just never would breathe through.
Mhm.
And I was like, how can I tie the Hellcat emblem into the car and make it read?
Right.
And so then I was there again. I was back into looking at different imagery,
Mhm.
and I ran across the elephants painting. And I'm like, there we go.
That's cool.
I took the Hellcat emblem, I drew it out here in 3 different places, drew a body to it, and added these stilt-like legs, and I just freaking love the way it made me
Yeah.
feel.
I think those Hellcats really brought that image together to showcase what you're looking at,
Right,
you
and it
know?
adds an eerie feeling
Mhm.
to it,
Right.
like it's being watched over,
Mhm.
or something. The no vacancy sign, what do people think about no vacancy? I mean, it's like there's just nothing left.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of this of the no vacancy sign. There's no rooms available,
Mhm.
right? So nothing available. And I felt like that added to that emptiness, lonely type feeling. Um, but yeah, once I got the car on the platform, I had the Hellcats in the background. Then I did something that most nobody ever does to a perfect drawing.
You melt it.
I melted it, and I just went in and just started drawing what I felt like would look, if a car was melting, what it
Mhm.
would look like. Um, and that's what that's how I come up with it. I mean, it was weird to have something as perfect as I could get it, and then go through it and what I felt like was ruining it,
Right.
and just exaggerating the shapes, and then as I was drawing it, I realized that it wasn't like I could just draw one line down and melt it.
Mhm.
No, I had to bring every single body line of the car
Right.
down to make it feel like it was melting. Like, what would chocolate look like if it was melting, or a piece of plastic? That's
Yeah.
really what it boiled down to. What would a piece of plastic look like if it were melting, and you had multiple colors to that plastic?
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of what I did as far as the basic sketch. Then come the next terrifying part,
Coloring it.
coloring it.
Mhm.
And um, I wanted the car to stand out, so that's why I went with the black right behind the car.
Which I think was a very, very smart move. It really pushes your Hellcat forward, all of them.
Right. And when I did that, I knew that, like, I wanted majority of the black around the car. I wanted it to fade out at both ends and then fade into warm colors, really to pop in that warm color palette.
Mhm.
Um, the background, the desert scape, I mean, that I felt like was pretty self-explanatory. But I wanted it to be dark down here, not necessarily up here, because I wanted, again, everything to be pushed forward.
Mhm.
Um, the platform, man, I struggled with a couple different ideas. Part of me was like, play off the no vacancy sign, make it like a brick building that is sitting on top of. Quite honestly, when I got to that, I'm like, I'm done.
I think going simple with it really emphasized the focus on the
I
vehicle.
do too.
Mhm.
Um, because that was one of the struggles I had with it, is that I was afraid that it was going to become too busy.
Mhm.
And not to mention, like I said, once I got to that point, I was just done. I wanted to be done with it.
Yeah.
I was over it. So I went light on the top, put my lines in, my stripes in, and then um went a little darker shade gray on the sides. Uh just to help it give dimension. Um Now when I got to the car, did the car very last, other than the platform.
Mhm. I did my car last as well.
Yeah. And I was I struggled.
You scared?
No, I wasn't scared.
I was scared whenever I got to the car.
I struggled. I struggled very much with
Mhm.
the orange color palette. And that is partly because I had talked to Jordan earlier in the week, and she sent me these 3 Dodge Challengers that she wanted to use inspiration for. One was a black one was a gray one, and one was a red one. I was like, "Man, I really like that red one." She goes, "Oh, I know. I really like the red one
Yeah.
too."
And
I'm
my
like,
sketch of that red one is so good.
"Yeah." I'm like, "Would you mind if I use the color palette off the red one too?" She goes, "Well, I don't know. I really like the red one."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Are you sure? You don't think they could both be red?" She's like, "I don't know." I could tell it in her voice. She wanted to say no without saying no,
Yeah.
you know? So I was like,
I
"All
was like, "You
right,
can't do the same
all right.
car."
I I'll bite, and I'll do mine orange." I had an orange charger that I was using inspiration from, and I was like, "I'll do the orange."
I think you killed it.
Oh, let me tell you,
Yeah.
the alcohol markers,
Yeah.
3 orange
3
colors,
oranges.
3 orange colors.
Fluorescent orange, deep sunset orange, and orange.
And do you
At
know how
least
many
there's just an
times?
orange.
Yeah, and do you know how many times I used the fluorescent orange?
0.
0.
Yeah.
So I had 2 orange markers to pull this off. I felt like I did a pretty good job,
Yeah.
but I was stressing and I was not happy. But I was like, "You know what? I think I can make it work." I really kind of used red to my advantage towards the back of the
Mhm.
car, because I'm like, it's darker back
It
there.
it transitions so well
Yeah,
into the orange
it,
as well.
it's darker back there, so I felt like I could get away by using some of the reds and really
Mhm.
focus the orange in up here and
And
get that burnt orange color look.
with your underglow, the orange was a very smart move because if you didn't have that orange, it would have read as, like, Christmassy colors, I think,
Right.
with the red and the
Yeah,
green.
I agree.
Mhm.
Um, so I say all that very jokingly. I mean, I was able to pull it off with what I had. It just took time, and it took an extra piece of paper, because everything I did on the piece of paper before I put it on here, just to make sure that uh, I knew what I didn't want to do and what I did want to do.
Mhm.
Uh, the green, I knew I wanted the contrast to the green underglow and the contrast to the green headlights. Um, but I mean, aside from all that, it was it was not an easy challenge.
Right.
I mean, I even struggled a fair bit with mine. Especially I struggled more with the medium
Mhm.
than I did the overall design. I felt like the
Mhm.
overall design just boom on the paper, but the medium, I was just so apprehensive about it, because unlike the Freddy Krueger challenge, where you could really layer up your colors, you could start with a light gray and work your way up. This was, once
It's on there.
it's on there, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Right.
It's Katie bar the door if you don't
Yeah,
have
it
it right.
is. Yeah, it is.
And it's not like you have light oranges and light reds, that you have a whole list of colors that you can go through and just layer them and layer them and
Mhm.
layer them to get to a final product that you like. Sometimes you got to put it on there and know exactly what it's going to be.
I agree. Yep.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, I enjoyed the challenge. It was a tough challenge. I didn't struggle with it as much as Jordan did, but we're all going to have that. I mean,
Right.
unfortunately, we're both going to struggle with challenges.
Mhm.
And I think even with your with what you said that you struggled with, I still think it's a phenomenal piece.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think you really blew it out of the park with yours.
I don't know. I think you're going to be a very. I think they're
I'm
gonna
just
both going to
I'm
command
just
a vote.
glad it's over. I'm glad it's
Well, and guess
over.
what? Guess what?
I'm
It's
just
Wednesday,
yeah.
and we get to roll again.
Woohoo!
So out with the old, in
In
with
with the
the
new.
new.
Here we go.
Let's jump into our titles and artist statements.
Yeah. So my title here, I decided to go I kind of looked online to see a bunch of different things that I could name it and stuff. And I ended up coming up with From the Inferno because and this is the part that I'm proud about is the mirror like you can really tell that this Hellcat is coming from somewhere dark, mysterious. Um it's just neat. So I decided to go with From the Inferno and it I feel like that really gave it like a dramatic supernatural edge without being too literal and it just shows it's strong, it's clean and it's memorable from the Inferno. For my artist statement, I just really feel like this explores power. I feel like it explores the identity and transformation. You're coming from something. With the warm color palette, those colors, I really feel like it pushes for a charged atmosphere. Um, with the red, I wanted the vehicle to be red also because I wanted it to show speed. Um, red is, always classified with speed.
Mhm.
But overall, I feel like this celebrates ambition and adrenaline and the thrill of crossing boundaries. One thing that really stood out to me this week, and I'm so upset that I couldn't push it into this drawing more, is I spoke with a really good friend of mine. Her name is Kate, and she is an incredible surrealistic artist.
Incredible, guys.
Wow.
I wish she would allow us to showcase some of her stuff on here sometime because it
Oh,
is
that would be
just
cool. Yeah.
it's what she does is
It's
crazy.
absolutely awesome. Her process is awesome. How she does it is awesome. The anatomy that she works into her drawings, it's everything's phenomenal. She is by far such an incredible surrealistic artist. Um, and so I was talking to her throughout the week, and I'm just like, Kate, dude, how do I do this? What do I need to do? I feel like I'm really struggling here. And she was just like, break the rules, break the rules and just throw down whatever you want. And that was really helpful, honestly, with her just saying like break the rules. It's fine. Um, morph in, take reality into a completely different step. I feel like Adam was able to portray that so well for me personally. I felt like I couldn't. We'll get into challenges later, but yeah, go ahead with your artist statement.
So I named this one No Vacancy in Hell. Of course, obviously, I got inspiration from a couple paintings. I just really feel like it depicts the irony of modern day society and all the emphasis that we put on just material items.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's about buy, 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 buy. Um, and at some point, those items aren't going to be here any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to depict that in a way that, all this stuff is going to melt into nothing at some point, and there's just going to be nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So, how important are these material items? And I feel that it's weird that we put such emphasis on some of these things that really have no meaning in life
Right.
other than they're an object.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Look at you getting all deep and stuff and your no
Welcome.
vacancy in hell.
Welcome. Should have done.
Awesome, awesome. So I feel like we've talked a lot about likes. Let's talk about some challenges that we really overcame, not just, the color and stuff like that. A challenge within our work that we had to overcome. Something that you really had to work, manipulate, all that jazz, other than, melting your vehicle.
I think um, one of the challenges that I had was with the Hellcats. I've never been a great animal artist.
I can't wait for us to get an
I
animal.
know, and it really terrifies me. We were talking about this earlier with my
Animal,
son.
graphite pencil, realism, please.
Graphite pencil, realism, anything but an animal. That's where I'm at. Because I'm just, animals are very hard
I love them.
because even though they're an organic item
Mhm,
or, you know, they still have very strong muscular
mhm.
uh,
Features.
features to them. And if you don't get them right, they won't look right. Now, granted, everybody can say, well, this is surrealism. Doesn't matter if they're
Right.
right.
You still want it to read as
But
you can look at that, and if you know what the Hellcat emblem is, hey, that's a Hellcat, not just
Mhm.
mountain lions with long legs in the background. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, I struggled with that. I mean, it wasn't like I just poof put it on paper.
Right.
I really struggled with it, and then I was like, I was really unsure about their color scheme, and we're working on a warm color palette, so I was thinking about all these different colors, but I'm just like, man, if I go black, if I go brown, if I go any of these other colors, it's gonna blend too much
Mhm.
with the background, and I felt like they needed to just pop out, but be very like what's the word for it? Be very eerie like,
Yeah.
you know? Like their presence is there without being there.
Right.
And I struggled with that quite a bit trying to get that to come together.
And it's really neat because, you're doing No Vacancy in Hell here, and they really have, a ghostly, soulless look to them.
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
that's what I was trying to come up
Yeah.
with. That's what I was trying to come up with. Um so
Kinda like this world's version of hellhounds, you know?
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's cool.
Hope all y'all got that reference.
Right.
Great show.
Yep.
Great show.
There you go.
How about you?
So for me, I've talked a lot about the challenges. Unfortunately, this kind of was a negative competition for me. Um, but one thing specifically was, so I've done filigree before in graphite pencil, doing it in the color, and whenever I've mentioned before how I draw, like I lay down my roadmap, I lay down my sketch, and I just kind of work either from top to bottom, left to right, or piece here, piece there, piece there. Um, with this one, I also wanted to outline the filigree. That way, it really separated from the background. Um, and as I did, I was just like, man, I feel like this is not very clean. So that was a challenge that I had to overcome, but I do like the antique look of it. Um,
I love the
and
way it turned out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, Another challenge was correctly designing and morphing a front version of the Hellcat emblem into the bottom. Um, that took some finesse, morphing that there and to create it still as the one image and morphing this, beautiful filigree into kind of like a flaming filigree towards the bottom, to just show that this portal or portalistic mirror really is from a different dimension and does not quite belong right there, and is bringing something in, away from the inferno. Another thing that I feel like was a challenge, was honestly kind of blending these alcohol markers,
They're not
the
as easy.
colors.
They're not as easy to blend as you would think.
Right, the colors are hard to blend, and there's kind of no middle ground with how we did black and white. You could work from your lowest shade higher and higher and higher.
Mhm.
Now with these, like we mentioned before, there's only 3 oranges, and each one of them are so drastically different. Each of the reds are so drastically different. And that was a big
Did
finessing area
did you use the
was
colorless blender?
I did.
Okay.
Yep, I did this time around.
I felt like that helped me a lot get rid of a lot of the marker lines because at the end of the day, they're still markers.
Right, yeah, they're markers. You're gonna have your marker lines. Um,
So I felt like, that blender helped
right,
me get rid of that. And then, you know, like right here, the black to the cranberry.
right.
understanding that if you put the black down and then you come in over the top of it with the cranberry, because it is a lighter color, you can go over the top of the black and get
Mhm.
rid of the marker line.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's mainly my main challenge was just trying to finesse these colors. Yeah, I that's about all I got. How about you, Adam?
Oh, I got.
That's all I got. I'm
Yeah.
really excited for the next challenge.
Hopefully, it's graphite pencil.
Graphite pencil, animals, animal realism would be cool. Or we've been doing realism, well, surrealism, realism for back to back 2 weeks. We can jump into some new school. That would be cool.
Yeah,
I
that'd
would
be
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something new or
Yeah.
video game character. Oh
I would
man,
love freaking Zelda.
I would love to draw Kratos. I would love to. Can you imagine? Draw, especially the older, drawing his big scar. That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
it'd be a blast.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
Yep.
thanks for tuning in to Talk Parlor number 13, where we discuss our head-to-head challenge
Mhm.
from the week before, and we do our creations and we put them up for your guys' vote. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at Parlor number 13, as well as Instagram and Talk Parlor number 13 on YouTube. And you can find us on all of your popular podcast platforms.
All of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Yeah. Don't forget
Yep.
to subscribe and comment. Make sure you put any of your thoughts and choose your favorite artwork.
Keep the creativity flowing and let your inspiration soar together. We create, we inspire, and we transform art into a beautiful journey.
A journey.
A journey.
All right,
A
guys.
journey.
We will see you at the next challenge.
Yep.
And wherever you are, as always,
Be safe.